we begin today with some grim milestones in the coronavirus pandemic. We've got 2 million new infections in the U.S. in just 2 weeks, 85,000 patients hospitalized. And for the first time since early May, states across the country reporting more than 2,000 deaths in a single day. Let's bring in Anjalee Khemlani for the very latest on that front. Anjalee, I know you spoke with CDC Director Dr. Redfield earlier today. I thought it was interesting how you talked about this shift that's happening with the pandemic right now, saying it's no longer about spread in the public square, but about inside the homes, which is why there's so much concern going into the holiday.
That's correct, Akiko. And that's a message that, of course, we've heard from the CDC for quite some time, and health experts recommending against small gatherings, which we know are likely to happen tomorrow and for the weekend. We already saw the record numbers of the travel from TSA screenings over the weekend. And while some have taken steps such as looking for tests or trying to, arrive earlier so that they have time to quarantine, that still is a concern for these health experts, and that is one of the reasons why the CDC is looking at shortening the quarantine time. That's based off of a study they just recently did about travel-related transmission, and they're still analyzing that, even though the CDC Director Dr. Robert Redfield did say a change is likely to come. Listen to what he had to say about that.
I do anticipate that we will come out with new recommendations that look at a shorter period of quarantine and even a shorter period of quarantine where you would test out of quarantine. I don't want to get ahead of the recommendations. I know there's been some talk in the press about it, but I do expect that in the next week or so, that data will be completely analyzed and then the recommendations will be made based on that data.
So as you can hear, really looking for within the next week or so a likely change to that. Currently, the recommendation is 14 days. And with more testing available, at least more testing options, especially at home, as well as more rapid tests, the idea being that you could buffer that extra week with a test in order to get out of quarantine. We also know that research has shown that typically within about 5 days is when symptoms start to show if someone has been exposed. So all of this together to say that we are likely seeing changes in the recommendations, just as we did at the very beginning with mask wearing, as more is learned about the coronavirus and its spread. Akiko.